War. When do you see that happening?
Again, you know, the timing's very difficult, but we believe it's going to be sooner rather than later, and it's going to be steps into the Great War. It's not going to be one day, but it can be one day if there is a 9/11 magnitude terror strike, which we believe is going to happen. So you have all these different factors going on at one time. Which one's going to be the tripping point? It's very difficult to say at this point.
Scott, does that answer your question?
I just wanted to ask one quick thing about the war part. Hugh Court has a website where he calls that bin Laden has plans for an American Hiroshima. I wonder if Gerald is familiar with what's available through Dr. Court, and if he would have any, does he put much credibility into that?
I've been hearing from bin Laden now for how many years, and I don't think he has the wherewithal, even if he's even there. There isn't bin Laden anymore.
Scott, I appreciate your call. Let me comment on that. Look, we know Al-Qaeda was created by the CIA. We know bin Laden was CIA. We know that every week or two there's a new article quoting him from some message board or audio, and then at the bottom it says, we don't know if this is him or not. This is a boogeyman, a Goldstein, somebody to scare the population. Here's the Washington Times. Critics, Obama administration hyping terrorist nuclear risk. The Obama administration is warning that the danger of a terror attack within the United States with a nuclear weapon is increasing. But U.S. officials say the claim is not based on new intelligence and questioned whether the threat is being overstated. And President Obama went on in the 47-nation nuclear summit they were having to conclude that the risk of nuclear confrontation has gone down between nations, but the risk of nuclear attack from terrorists has gone up. I mean, this, and then it's got all these top analysts saying this is political hype and fear-mongering, and Obama's trying to blame it on Iran, when Iran is Shiite, the arch-enemy of the Saudi Arabian al-Qaeda Wahhabis. Comments on that, Gerald?
No, you've covered it. It is hype, and it could happen, by the way. When I wrote Trends 2000 back in 1996, we front-loaded it with the breakup of the former Soviet Union and all of the suitcase-sized nukes and other nuclear materials that were being sold on the black market. So again, with the foreign policy going in the direction it's going in, of course there's going to be major reprisals against the United States. Anybody that thinks differently is out of their mind. You can't invade other countries, occupy them, kill hundreds of thousands of people, and not want people to get even with you. How they do it, whether it's nuclear, a biological attack, whether it's whatever it might be, in a stadium, in a shopping mall, it's going to happen.
Well, Gerald, what I'm saying is in this inverted logic, terrorism will help the New World Order. It will help the fascists, the corporatists, because the public doesn't understand we're attacking other people. If a cop breaks his baton on your head, he charges you. This literally happens with assaulting him now. There's a big federal case, of course, with Maryland University over this right now. And so it really helps the establishment to stage terror attacks as a pretext to launch these new wars.
Alex, you don't need any clearer proof than Afghanistan and Iraq. Iraq is a war being fought under false pretenses. There was no weapons of mass destruction. There was no ties to Al-Qaeda. And go back and look at what the reasoning was to attack Afghanistan. It was to get Osama bin Laden and close down the terrorist camps. So they're going to use anything they can, fake or real, to keep the military machine going and to keep the people under their thumb in the height of fear. And as you mentioned, they're using the fear card again, and they're playing the card as a trial balloon because there's going to be real reasons for fear coming down the road.
Okay, I want to go back to calls, but I wanted to bring up another subject. Back in January of last year, a year and a half ago, or almost a year and a half ago, we got State of New York, Bureau of Cemeteries, internal documents. We had emergency managers on saying they're preparing in Indiana and Illinois for millions of dead, that the flu was coming, it was going to kill millions and that the feds had to take over and have martial law. We got the documents. I warned the people. Then in April, out of the wrong season, wrong hemisphere, H1N1 pops up. I go on air and I say, I don't know if this is going to be real or not. Whether it's real flu or not, it's psychological terrorism. Just like if it's a real nuke attack or not, it's psychological terrorism. Then the head of the EU Health Commission, 47-member group, Wolfgang Woodrig, we had him on, documented that they paid off the scientists in our governments, had them lie to make tens of billions on sales. You talked about it being a fraud. I talked about it. Here it is, the Daily Mail. We blundered over swine flu, admit health chiefs. Global health chiefs have finally admitted that they may have overreacted to swine flu pandemic, landing governments with millions of unused vaccines. That's the whitewash. But there we are again, right about the fact that H1N1 was a hoax, but that it was genetically engineered. That's been confirmed. And that if you took the seasonal flu shot, that's what gave you the H1N1. They were putting it in the vaccines. That's in 5 new studies that they were actually, I mean, this is so diabolical. It's right out in the open and nobody gets in trouble.
Well, look what's going on with the pharmaceutical companies. They hire doctors and they pay the doctors to do the research. And then the doctors become spokespersons for the pharmaceutical industry. And they make up fake studies. I mean, how much more proof do you need? Hey, ladies, remember all of that estrogen they told you to take for how many years? And then the people that was saying that it was dangerous for you and it wasn't doing the things that they claimed it was doing, they would run them into the ground. So, yeah, it's every level. And, again, keep making the connections. You know, it's the same thing. It's the pharmaceutical companies. It's big agriculture, it's big banks, and it's the Great War. It all adds up. It all goes into the same direction. World War II, World War I, and the war coming up. It's a war of profits. They'll kill anybody. They'll do anything. As I said before, they're nothing more than money junkies. Okay,
Gerald Celente, I want to race through calls and questions now in the last 12, 14 minutes we have left here. The revolt of the states, that's a Twitter question. States moving to sue, states talking about secession, even Rick Perry talking about it, declaring 10th Amendment. Where do you see that going?
Oh, definitely. We wrote about this years ago. Secessionism's a real movement. We could see the United States breaking up like the former Soviet Union. The Second Vermont Republic. Check that one out. They're real. This is for real. And these are really intelligent guys. Thomas Naylor. I mean, this guy's, professor emeritus from Duke University. There are a lot of intelligent people. We can see it breaking up. As the government grips more, the states break apart.
Here's another question, Twitter question from Fedros. It says, the Australian economy seems to follow the U.S. closely. Should the U.S. economy implode, what chance have we here in Oz?
They won't get hit as bad, but they'll get hit, everybody. There will be very few countries that escape it. The best countries that we're looking at, and they're in this Trends Journal, is Australia, Canada, Norway, New Zealand. Those are about the top. And, of course, Switzerland, they're the money cockroaches of the world. They never go anywhere. But they won't get hit as bad as the United States because they're not as indebted as we are.
What do you think about state bank initiatives where we have state banks that give the public free credit?
Like, I don't think you can give free credit at all. But what we should go back to, we believe, is the Glass-Steagall Act. It worked before. It saved us after the Great Depression, so the criminals couldn't do what they're doing now. And by the way, the things that I do personally, I put all my money, most of our money, in the community bank, in the local bank. I know it's sound. And I also, of course, because we're an international business, we have to have international banks. But they can't loan for free. I mean, you just can't. It can't work like that.
What do you see with the population and the relationship with police now? Because of all these tiny handheld cameras built into cell phones, iPads, you name it, iPhones, we're really seeing police walk up, beat innocent people half to death, throw legless men out of wheelchairs, going crazy and being encouraged to do it. And now the public's really getting to see this. Where do you see that going, and where do you see the attempt to clamp down on free speech on the Internet going?
We're going to, well, they are clamping down on free speech. They're going to continue to clamp down. We just saw that federal court ruling that was in favor of a Comcast, where they can now charge different prices for different clients to give them different speeds. That may come about in the future. So net neutrality is really under attack. As far as the police are becoming like goon squads for the bankers. And it's just, well, that's what happens when a nation goes from first class to third world. They beat you into submission. And that's what's going on in the United States more and more.